everyone. How you doing? How you doing today on this very, very beautiful day? Hopefully you're having a good day where you are, because I'm definitely having a great day because it is a podcast day. This is the Wrench Everyday podcast where we talk about cars and car culture and wrenching and getting dirty. My name is Freddie Hernandez. You may know me as Tavarish if you're on the internet. And joining me is my co-host, my friend, my partner in crime, Mr. Andrew Howell.
You forgot Finn Gergens.
I did forget Finn Gergens. So Finn Gergens is he has a rich history on this podcast. On this podcast again with the podcast.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, there, boy. Jeez.
So Finn Gergens he has some lore now attached to him. We've had people bring in some emails with maybe some Finn Gergens livery on race cars. Finn Gergens Racing. Apparently, that's
I guess.
Yeah, so I think we can go a little further with this, this little meme, because it is not dead. So, how you doing today?
You know what I'm doing?
You're doing all right. Okay. Anything happened to your car recently? Any maladies of the daily driver variety?
Yeah.
What happened?
I got some cement splattered all over it.
Well, okay.
I can't have nice things.
I don't think you can. Here's the thing: driving a car that is black is hard enough, right? It's pretty hard to keep a black car clean, and you have a very nice paint job. That paint job is it's a stock paint job. It's not like a aftermarket or anything,
right? But
it's black and it has this really nice flake in it. There's like a metallic quality, like a pearl or something. And it's hard to keep cars like that clean because black shows, it's like a mirror. It just shows up. Everything shows up on it. You have swirl marks. And I know you are particularly susceptible to noticing those sorts of things on your car.
Yes, though I am less susceptible to acting upon it because I'm busy.
Okay. Because I have stuff to do.
In fact, I'm going to, pun intended, come clean here.
Okay.
I have a monthly membership to a local drive-through car wash.
I think you mentioned that. I think that there's no shame in that. Well, here's the thing.
I can only hope that Matt Mormon from Obsessed Garage is not watching this right now.
Matt Mormon, if you're watching this, then give my friend a pass, because he has a daily driver, and I honestly don't think that, like, some of these car washes, I don't think they're that bad. Now, a lot of detailers are going to be like, well, car washes are the worst thing that could ever have.
Like, if Larry Casilla is watching from Ammo NYC, he would probably do a running, like, face punch.
Right. So it's like, I don't know, people who chew loudly, then Hitler, then automated car washes. Like, it's like that. It's like it's just the worst thing that can ever happen.
Yeah.
But honestly, with the car washes, at least around here, they ain't that bad.
They aren't terrible. And of course, me being me, I have been keeping a close eye on my car at, like, literally every time I send it through.
Are you putting it under a microscope, and do you have a little depth gauge that tells you how many microns your paint is? Because if you don't, then you have no idea, sir. You have no idea how good your paint is, because I can tell you that you have minor stress cracks in your clear coat.
Oh, I know.
And that it's not going to last. It'll only last 15 or 20 years. Okay, so you just think about that, buddy. Okay.
Yes, Dad.
Honestly, listen, for a daily driver, I think it's fine.
Plus, and we've mentioned this before, I may be getting it wrapped soon, within the next 5 or 6 months, hopefully. So
if you get it wrapped, can you still drive it through the car wash?
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
You can. Yeah.
So it doesn't, like, screw up anything with the clear coat, well, it's not gonna be clear coat, but the top coat or UV protection or something.
No, it'll be fine.
So the thing that I don't like about car washes is that they have to use, like, a kind of the degreasers and stuff to get all the stuff off. So if you did wash your car and just say wanted to rinse, then it's probably going to be pretty aggressive on your car, and it's going to take off all that stuff, all that work that you took off.
So here's the thing: the
wash. This is going to be a top tip now. Here's some knowledge I'm about to drop on you guys.
And I don't even know if it's knowledge. I don't know if it's legit or whatever. It's advertised. This is what it's advertised as.
This might be a wives' tale.
The membership that I have, I get the top tier, ultra premium,
right?
God's wash. So
the God's wash, please.
It shines my tires. It does the under. I'm actually really
puts
happy,
the lotion on its skin,
or else it gets the hose again.
Right.
I'm actually really glad that I have that because it does the undercarriage wash. So it rinses the underside of the car with like pressurized water, so I can whenever it's on a lift, I can see what I'm doing. It's not caked with garbage. That's kind of nice.
Well, I mean, the undercoat wash is usually for places with a lot of salt on the roads,
right?
To clean that off. We don't have much of that,
right? But my driveway is grass and dirt.
Listen,
and that does build up over time.
You know the saying, "God made dirt, and dirt don't hurt," and that applies to cars.
It hurts me.
It does.
It
okay.
does. It hurts me. Right. It hurts my feelings.
So that's nice. How did you get the cement off?
So, it's cement. So, initially it happened. I was next to the cement truck, this mixer truck, and it was just like literally pouring out of the chute on the highway. Like it had rolling diarrhea.
It's that high speed cement, man.
Yep.
That's how they put it on. You know, they say the government is inefficient. I say they're too efficient. This is instead of them. That's how they fill potholes. That's what you didn't notice. There's these
small layers,
micro potholes. That's how they do it. They roll at 60 miles an hour, and little
giblets,
little droplets come out. Exactly. Listen, they have this all figured out. There's a computer system and everything. Yeah, yeah.
So,
I think you got in the way of progress. That's what happened. You got in the way of progress by the Department of Traffic, and I don't know.
Pro is the opposite of con. What's the opposite?
Oh
of
God!
Progress?
I've seen that meme before.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I get to work. My day is already ruined. My car is totaled because it has cement on the side. I'll never get it off. Just typical me overreacting. So then lunch break comes along, and I go outside and I look at it, and I notice it's not actual cement. It's just like the juice that
right, the cement juice. That's actually the name for it.
Yeah. Or like rock slop, whatever you want to call it.
Rock slop.
Yeah, that's another band name. There it is, rock slop. No. They open for cement juice.
Okay.
So
they play only only half built arenas.
Yeah, their drummer just uses a jackhammer. So I go out to the car and I look at it, and my heart is like it's sunk to my ankles, and then I bend over and I kind of like touch it, and it immediately turns to dust and goes away. It was just like mud. It was just cement mud.
Isn't that great?
30 tons of sorrow were lifted from my shoulders in that moment.
It's just dust. That's awesome. Okay, cool.
So I lucked out big time.
All right, so you didn't have to worry about that. That's good. So you have a running car. I'm starting to wonder what that feels like.
Dude, you have like 7 running cars. 7. Okay, you have like,
not
you have
really,
like 2 running cars.
Not really. Yeah,
I mean 3 running cars.
Not like real fun ones though.
I mean the SL55 is pretty awesome.
It's
pretty awesome. No. I drive a Ford Focus. Your SL's cool.
I got a new bumper for it.
Finally,
I got it. Well, no.
Is it a Cominari?
It's a buddy club actually.
Wings West. You want to go to Home Depot and get some chicken wire to make a grill?
Well, I was gonna get some wood screws to fix
absolutely.
it. And it's actually the Vader body kit.
Oh yeah.
It's so good.
That's perfect.
It looks like just like Darth Vader. So
nice.
When people see my car, well, it's gonna be primered. So my car's black. Hey, whatever, man.
If the 240 kids can have multiple color cars, why not Mercedes kids?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. So what if I put a Vader Cominari Buddy Club body kit on it? Who cares? No, actually, I bought a rear bumper for it because I did have a stock front bumper that I was going to install.
Gotcha.
But the rear bumper is from an SL63. The same body, which is the R230, but the SL63 has a different style rear diffuser.
Okay.
So it has like a bigger rear diffuser, and it's like it just updates the car a little bit.
Nice.
And I got it for a real good, like just super cheap price, like $200 or something on eBay.
Heck yeah.
And that way I can put a carbon fiber diffuser on it, and it's going to look real nice.
Man.
But I mean, I do need to paint the bumper and all that stuff. But that's.
Do we have any updates on the transmission?
So the transmission is done. It's ready to be shipped out. I just have listen, I had a lot on my plate, and I have to coordinate the shipping effort because apparently the UPS in Budapest is garbage, and I have to order it from here. So I still have to get that out. But when that happens, then it should be then it's just a matter of weeks or something until I get it, and then I can start the real big headache process of actually putting the thing in.
Do you think that project will be as difficult or more difficult than the Gallardo currently is?
So the Gallardo is it's not necessarily all that difficult.
I mean, just like a hardship on your life.
Possibly, because it's going to be taking up space on my lift, and I know that with this Gallardo, I still have my lift available, like if I need to do anything. But this is something where the car is not going to be able to run, and I can't necessarily move it in and out. So that's going to be hard. So I have to figure some solutions out pretty quickly on how to just move the car, even if it doesn't, like if it throws a bunch of codes, it's gonna be fine. But I think that it's gonna be the same thing. The Gallardo is definitely a harder thing to do just because I'm making a twin turbo kit from scratch in my garage. A manual swap, if you've done one, you've done them all. Hardware wise, it's pretty simple, but it's just dealing with the computers that's going to be the hard part because that's never been done.
Yeah.
But an update on the Lamborghini, by the time you guys see this, or by the time you guys hear this, then I believe I have already got the car started. Now, in the time of recording this, I have not gotten the car started, so this is like a weird in-between area where people have likely already seen the result, but I'm talking about it from the perspective of it hasn't happened yet. So I don't know if it's going to be, if it bursts into flames or there's going to be leaks or something like that, but I have done a lot of work as far as buttoning everything up, making sure everything fits. I had Tony over last night, and one of the exhaust pipes didn't fit because we had an issue with the V-band flange. It was warped, and then we had to grind it down a little bit, and the act of grinding it down basically made it too short. And then we basically put a new V-band flange on. And that is, neither here nor there. It's fine now, but fitting everything, it takes such a long time. We thought we were gonna have everything done yesterday, and we ended up just like going back 2 steps. So hopefully by the weekend everything will be buttoned up and shouldn't give us any issues. But I have redone the entire fuel system. I have done the oiling system for the turbos, and you actually gave me a really nice Dash 10 AN fitting that I needed. That was the last part of the puzzle. And I'm going to go over all this in a video, but I have redone, I made sure that nothing's touching any exhausts, nothing's zip tied, in bad places, because when I got this car, this thing was literally just shoddily put together.
It was held together with hopes and dreams.
Yes. And several very burnt zip ties. So one thing that I didn't understand, and I have no idea how the car ran at all, was the fact that the O2 sensors were in their stock locations, but there were turbos after the O2 sensors. Now, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, when you do a turbo system, you want the O2 sensors to read. The O2 sensors basically read how much fuel and how much air is in the exhaust stream. Mm-hmm. So that's how you know if you're running rich, which means that you have a let's say running rich is a 10-to-1 air fuel ratio. You have 10 parts air to 1 part fuel. And then you have lean, which is a higher number, which is usually 15 or 16. You want it to be, on a turbocharged car, you want it to be between 12.5 to 13.5. 13.5 is kind of leaning out a little bit, but you want it to be around 13s, right? With an O2 sensor that's before the turbo, you're introducing that O2 sensor to a lot of pressure. You don't want pressure in that exhaust stream because it screws up the readings. Right. You don't have flow. You just have, there's a lot of pressure and it's just doing this back and forth, and that's not very good. So I have no idea how it ever ran. I have no idea how they ever got a competent tune. I doubt that they could. But I am relocating those O2 sensors. I have to cut the wires. I have to lengthen the wires all the way to the back of the car and then put the O2 sensors after the turbos where they're supposed to be. And it's supposed to be like a specific placement. I think it's like 16 inches or something after the turbo outlet. So, that all has to be done. I got the bungs, the bung holes. No TP though. And
no turbo pressure.
No turbo pressure.
No TP for the bunghole.
No TP for my bunghole. All right. No, I got those. I'm gonna get those in, and as soon as that's in, I think I can start the car, and that's gonna be really, really.
That'll be exciting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I also have to drain the gas, which is I thought I was gonna do it with a drain on the bottom, but there's like a piece. Basically a piece of the car. Like the car has a flat floor. Like from the front to the back, which is cool if you want to do, north of 200 miles an hour. If you got to take stuff apart, it's a pain in the butt.
Right.
So it has like this one panel that I have to like lower the car down, and the car doesn't have wheels right now. So I'm just gonna use the old siphon method. I have a little pump, a fluid pump. I'm just gonna put a hose in there and then
let her rip.
Just pump it into some gas tanks and get as much gas as I can out of there, and then just pump it full of some fresh 93. And we do have 93 over here because we live in land of freedom.
That's right.
Did you hear that there is I didn't read too much into this past the headline because I'm a regular American. And there is a headline that said that I think manufacturers are pushing for 95 to be the new regular. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be real good?
I'm okay with that.
I am very okay with that.
And to kind of expound upon that, I know that recently Mazda created a new type of gasoline engine that operates more like a diesel.
Oh, the Sky Active?
Yeah, but it's not
Sky Active X or something.
Sure, yeah.
So there's a few, like, I don't know much about the Sky Active engines. I don't want to speak out of turn. I do know that there's car manufacturers are doing a lot of weird stuff with their internal combustion engine to combat it. It feels like, if you're like a religious person, but you really want to do this one thing, like you'll find loopholes to get around it, so you can do. It feels like they're doing the same thing. Like these are the rules set in stone, but I really want to get this power, and I think that it will help my sales if I did this. So I think Infiniti, they have like a variable compression ratio engine, which is really cool. Like it has pistons, like the actual rods, they're on a pivot, and they like lock with the crankshaft has this. It's sort of like. The crankshaft acts almost like a camshaft, and then it locks, but then it also like swivels around. It's crazy. You should watch this on YouTube or whatever. And I still don't understand it. I've watched Jason Fenske's video on it, like the engineer explained. He explained it to me. I still don't get it. That's how you know it's crazy, because like if that guy can explain anything. So but it's really, really interesting. I don't know how well it can be tuned. I mean, I'd love to see applications for that, but imagine, you have 8-to-1 compression for, if you want to do like a power run, if you want to have like a lot of boost, and then you want to have a really good highway cruiser and you just bump it up to 11-to-1, and then everything in between, and you can run regular gas on it. It's direct injection, so you can basically lean it out as far as you want. And I mean that would be really, really good technology-wise. I think that would be really cool.
The mind boggles.
Yeah, so my mind is very boggled.
You know what I've always wanted to see in action, and I don't think there's a working example? Have you heard of the Duke engine?
What, the Iron Duke?
No. It's kind of like a radial.
Oh, okay.
It's got like the pistons that are laid out like kind of like 5 fingers.
Oh, yes. Okay. So for those of you who don't know about that, this is like a engine that operates in 3 dimensions.
Yes.
Like it's every engine operates in 3 dimensions, right? But this engine has
All five.
Instead of the pistons going up like this on a certain plane, the pistons that they go around on like this joint.
Yes, it's like it's an offset rotating. I don't even know how to describe it.
It's like a joint, like a shoulder joint or something.
Sort of, yeah. But all 5 cylinders are attached to it. And
imagine 5 shoulders spinning. That's like five disembodied shoulders.
Yes.
Spinning in their sockets. That's exactly what it looks like.
I want to know what that sounds like.
I think I heard a prototype. It sounds. I think. Well, they have to have a 5-cylinder because it operates like a radial engine.
Yeah.
And radials have to have odd cylinders. Like it's usually 7 or 9 cylinders. But I think it sounds like a 5-cylinder, like just a regular 5-cylinder. But it's also a little bit rotary-ish. Then again, I've only heard it kind of. There's no like commercial applications for this.
I have been searching for years on YouTube to find a working example of one of these motors. I don't even know if it exists.
Here's the thing. I don't think you can get one of these things working because the reason why you can have longevity out of an engine is that it has bearings. The bearings, they're usually just one way.
Right.
They go one way. There's thrust bearings and stuff, but they usually just do one job. They protect the crankshaft. Well, they don't protect the crankshaft. They ride on a little film of oil. The bearings usually don't do well if they have to go in a bunch of different directions.
Right.
That's where you can get hot spots. That's where sometimes the oil can't get everywhere, and you'll have to have something that's oiled very, very well. And if you don't, you'll have metal on metal, and then that engine will grenade itself pretty quickly.
Well, I'm excited to see if anything happens with that either way.
I think it'd be pretty cool, but I love those quirky engines.
So cool.
I love the radial engines though.
Radial engines are really neat.
I actually geeked out and watched the Jay Leno's Garage episode of he had like a Spitfire engine or something.
Yes,
and it was just on a plank. It's just an engine that he starts up.
I don't think it was a Spitfire. I think Spitfire actually had cylinder motors.
What? Okay, maybe not. Was it a?
But I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It was from an old plane. And it was in an old looking body chassis.
Right. Well, I think it was just on a. I remember it being just on a platform, and maybe you're thinking of something else.
I might be.
Yeah. So it was Jay Leno's Garage video where he just went out to his parking lot and he had this huge engine, and it had what's interesting is it has a propeller connected to it, but it's bolted onto this platform that isn't going to move. So it's just creating all this wind, and I'm like, oh, isn't that a great liability? Like somebody just got sucked into a huge propeller in a parking lot. But it took him like a good 10 minutes to get the thing started because you have to give it like this is like old technology.
You got to prime it.
This is not even like carbs were new when this thing. Carbs were so you got to prime all the cylinders. You got to make sure it's oiled right. You got to make sure the fuel is right. You got to pump it like yourself. And then everything's like this iron girder, like you got to push the throttle. You could see him like kind of like doing this. And it's just so awesome. It makes such a racket. And it's for nothing. Like it doesn't go in anywhere. It doesn't actually do any work.
Yeah.
But you can tell that Jay Leno's like, 60 something now. And he's like just a little kid,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We never grow up. I mean,
I like watching videos of really old steam engines. Mm-hmm. Like they were used as like generators or on like really old late 18, early 1900s tractors that are just literally just solid iron.
Right.
I just like the sound of a steam engine to me is just so interesting because you can literally hear just the cylinder gunk, 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 just like really slowly.
What's cool about the steam engines, and I know that I don't know much about steam engines, but here's what I do know. I know that they are both up and down as a power stroke, which is really cool. Like with a regular reciprocating engine, internal combustion engine, 1 out of every 4 strokes is a power stroke. So you have suck, squeeze, bang, and blow.
Unless it's an Atkins cycle. I think it's an Atkinson cycle.
Atkinson cycle. Atkins is a diet. So or a 2-stroke. But Atkinson cycle is the same sort of thing. It just leaves the thing open a little further.
I forgot.
So Atkinson cycle is I
think Hyundai or Kia or someone are using. No, it's some kind of hybrid car that right now that's available right now. I think it's
Prius or something.
I think it's a Prius that uses that.
So I don't know much about the Atkinson cycle, but what I do know is that there's something called a Miller cycle. And the Miller cycle was used by the mid-90s Mazda Millennia S. And that was a supercharged car. So what it did is it left the intake valve open during the combustion phase, but it used a supercharger pressure, not the combustion phase, the compression phase. So it left it open during the compression phase just enough that the supercharger pressure forced more air in, and that was called the Miller cycle.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was pretty cool. I think those cars made like somewhere around 200 something horsepower, which is not bad for
respectable for a little family car.
Those cars are actually like there's a lot of weird stuff in the 90s, especially coming from cars that are like a Millennia was just a regular family car. But, you had the 1.8 liter V6 from the Mazda MX-3.
Yeah.
That was just crazy. Like, it made no power. It made no sense, but it was a 1.8 liter V6. Just so you could put a V6 badge. Like, there you go. It's 1.8. But yeah, so I think we got a little off topic. My Lamborghini is doing quite well.
Yeah. Right, Lamborghini.
Right, yeah. So what I want to do is I want to put an MX-3 1.8 V6 in my Lamborghini.
Absolutely. 3 of them.
Exactly. I was thinking about this. Like, this car is basically 2 Golf GTIs put together. Like, because it's a 2.5 liter. I think that's what the Golf GTIs have. Like 2.5 liter 5 cylinders.
Yeah. No. I think the GTIs were like a turbo. I think we're thinking of the Rabbit 2.5.
Which one had the 2. Did any of them have a 2.5 turbo?
I think those were Volvos. I don't think that there was a Volkswagen that had a turbo 5.
Okay, you guys will let us know in the comments because I believe that there was a 2.5 5-cylinder with maybe a turbocharger. Or
I'm pretty sure that's Volvo.
No, I definitely know that there's a Volvo. I drove one actually. My friend Greg's Volvo V70R. That's a nice car. It's all-wheel drive. He had a manual one. I drove it when I was in Jersey. I'm gonna talk about what I did when I was in Jersey, probably in the next podcast. But because I got a lot to say about that. But the Volvo. I actually posted a picture on my Instagram, and I kind of
yeah, you absolutely clickbaited it for
sure. I put hashtag new car, hashtag new project, all this stuff, and people were like, "Oh, great, you bought that car." I'm like, I didn't say I bought it. I just said it was a new car.
Didn't think it was my project.
It's not my project car. It's somebody's, and it's also to throw people off the trail of the car I actually got, which got picked up by the enclosed shipper today. And it is definitely not Tyler Hoover's Bentley.
I wish it were.
I know it would have been a nice a nice project. Especially since what I would have bought it for would have been crazy cheap, like ridiculously cheap. Unfortunately, I didn't. So so don't look forward to that. Don't look forward to seeing that, don't look forward to hearing about that.
But I do know what you did get, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Definitely not as cool as Tyler Hoover's Bentley. Definitely not as cool.
That's debatable. It's debatable.
All right. So, I think. I mean, I'm a little nervous about this Lamborghini starting, to be perfectly honest with you.
Why is that?
Because there's so much, like, I've just been going over everything in the car, and I have to double and triple check everything because, redoing all the fuel lines, redoing all the oil lines and coolant lines and all that stuff, and actually troubleshooting the engine in the first place, which I probably should have done before I took everything apart. That leaves me with a bit of pause because there's just so much, like, there's so many systems that could go wrong. There's so much that was just left by the wayside. There's actually a thing called a thermocouple. And the thermocouple is basically like an EGT sensor, an exhaust gas temperature sensor. It just measures how hot the exhaust is. One of them was just snapped off.
Who needs it?
Who needs it, right? One of them was snapped off, and during the build, it was obviously done during the build because when they snapped it off, they just booger welded the hole shut. So you can tell that they were trying to get this thing off, and they couldn't. And then it just snapped off. Like, it's just a long tube, and it leads to the bung. And they snapped it off to the exhaust pipe. So they just closed the weld up. And, like, you can see, like, they use, like, some Harbor Freight crap welder. And yeah, it was just not very well done. And they left the sensor literally hanging. So I don't know why that was, but I'm not sure I necessarily need that sensor. I might put it in at some point in the future. I don't know. One of them is in there, but the other one is just, kind of to its own devices. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I put 2 exhaust gas temperature sensors in my Lamborghini that will make north of 1,000 horsepower, or should I just leave it with 1 and run what I brung? So I mean,
run what you brung. Don't use the bung.
Don't use the bung. Run what I brung. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. How loud? On a scale of 1 to 10, how loud do you think this is going to be?
I don't think the 1 to 10 scale is big enough.
You need a. All right, so
we may want to go north of 15 or 20.
Okay, so it's going to be that loud. Like I remember this car being pretty loud when I first started it, but it's going to be merging the exhaust gas together. So I think it's going to be mighty loud, but we'll see. I did get some exhaust tips for it. I got some blue flame, like so I like those.
I mean, it's your car, but
I like the tips that have the burnt blue flame.
Oh god.
Well, okay, well, tell me what's wrong with that.
It doesn't fit that car. Like I am used to seeing.
How does it not fit that car? That car will spit flames.
Yeah, but I'm so used to seeing those tips on like Subarus and like tuner cars. For me it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit the car.
Well, here's the good thing. They're only tips. So I can always change them out. If they look stupid, I can change them out.
I can guarantee you they're going to look stupid.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. It's my car and I'll do what I want.
Oh yes, I mean and that's what I said.
My car, do what I want.
That's what I said, but to me personally that just makes me sick.
Well, it makes you sick. Well, here's the thing. You don't look at the back with that.
I mean, I'm not going to have a choice. You're going to be a little faster than me.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's a race you want, do you?
No.
No, that's the last thing I want. I was actually thinking about, we were talking about this before the podcast. I'm not sure what I can realistically do with this car, like with its power. So other than going on the dyno and putting down a respectable number, I'm not sure what is, what I can actually do. Because going to the quarter mile, I will roast either the trans, the clutch, or the axles, or all 3.
Yeah, I think it's probably all 3.
Probably all 3.
If you do just a hard drag launch.
Yeah, these cars were not made to launch hard. You can do them. You can do it
stock.
Like, yeah, stock. You can do it, but an all-wheel drive system on that car with that much power, unless you have a transmission that is built for something like this, and there's not a lot of transmissions that can handle that much power. It's not. It'll break stuff. So I was thinking maybe doing like roll racing. They have and not roll racing like you see on the internet, like
we're in Mexico. Beep. Beep, beep.
Yeah.
The third honk is always way shorter.
Beep, beep, beep. That's what you got to do. I am past the honking phase now. I am in race mode. Well, no, they have roll races at the drag strip. So you just start way back where people usually stage, and then you just start going, and by the time you hit the lights, you're going like 20 or 30 miles an hour, and then you hit it. And that's how a lot of these really high horsepower Lamborghinis, like the Huracans and the Gallardos and whatever, that's how they make crazy power, and they go for a mile an hour. Fun fact: there's a record-setting Huracan right now with 3,500 horsepower.
How?
I don't know.
That's 150 horsepower per cylinder.
Right. That's
how.
I don't know.
Is there 7 turbos?
That's something I'll have to. Maybe it's a turbo for every cylinder.
10 turbos,
dude. I have no. This is 3 times the power of Veyron, like more than 3 times the power of Veyron, and it's just. Apparently, these cars also have like AC, and like these cars all have everything. Like they're street cars essentially, and they get into this race mode where they just have this crazy amount of power. I don't know what Lamborghini is doing to their engines. I don't know what these builders are doing to these Lamborghini engines to make them basically dragsters. But they can, in the quarter mile, I think one went like 230 miles an hour. In the quarter mile. We're not talking about a half mile or like this quarter.
Quarter?
Yeah, quarter.
Quarter barrel?
Dude, that's beyond insane.
How fast do you have to shift with that thing?
So I mean,
to like seventh gear by the end of the race
yeah. Well,
track?
the Huracan, I think it's probably on automatic, but I mean they have dual clutch, which shifts really fast.
Yeah.
Before that, they had the Gallardos, and the 6-speeds were were more robust because you didn't have the computer kind of messing all the gears up. But even the 6-speeds, they had them 2,500 horsepower, 2,800 horsepower. These are crazy cars.
That's really cool to have in a 6-speed. That's pretty neat.
Sure, but I like. Would you be okay with driving a 2,800 horsepower car on the road? Like I'd be kind of scared.
I'd give it a shot.
No, I'd give it a shot. But I'm saying like you owning it.
No.
And like
you already said you're scared. I'm gonna be the cool guy right now and say, yeah, I'd do that.
I'm gonna be cool right now.
You played your cards. I'm playing mine now.
All right, so that's enough about my Lamborghini. I think I'm going to talk about my New Jersey experience, and I talked to Mr. Fix himself, the Chris of YouTube, Chris Fix.
Oh,
yeah, he's a great guy. Actually, I ended up doing a video with him. So you guys will see that whenever he releases it. But yeah, I'm going to talk about my experience in the next podcast. So check that out. If you'd like to reach us and ask us questions or suggestions or something like that, then you can reach us at iwrencheveryday@gmail.com. And we're also on Instagram and Twitter at wrencheveryday. Andrew, do you do live streams? I think you
I do.
You do live streams.
Yeah. Real quick.
But you don't do on live streams.
No.
Good.
No.
Okay, but you do live streams.
Do.
That's right.
Real quick, I went on another podcast a couple days ago. It's already up on YouTube.
Oh, so you're cheating on us. Okay.
So I'll have a link in the description. The podcast is called For Geeks' Sake. So it's a nerd podcast. I'm one of those.
Okay.
Like nerds.
Are you?
Yeah, big time.
I didn't know that.
So
What else about you don't I know?
if I told you, I'd have to kill you.
Okay. All right.
So we'll have the link down there. It's super awesome crew. There's 5 people at the table all talking about crazy nerdy stuff. They had me on because they also wanted to kind of delve into the Tesla / autonomous driving thing, but we didn't really spend a whole lot of time on that just because we were just nerding out on other stuff.
Of course,
so
yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
To do, yeah.
The link will be on the in the description. But if you're looking to find me, you can find me on Instagram at HeavyMetalFL or on Twitter at 1565. That's the word 15 and the number 65.
And I'm at those same places at The Real Tavarish. So this is me for Andrew Howell, reminding you guys to wrench every day with some Fingurkins.